Hey everyone, Brandon Lee here with One Tech Stop, and I'm really excited because I just got this in the mail. The LG Wing, the world's first 5G swivel smartphone. Now, this is the first smartphone to be released under LG's new Explorer project, which is essentially LG's excuse to go crazy with smartphone design. And so far, I don't know, they might be onto something. But enough about that. I'm excited to open this box, so let's get to it. So here's our lovely box. It's good to see LG is making a big deal out of this phone because it's a pretty big deal. Now we open this up and we have some paperwork. What is this? A video brochure. I'm not exactly sure what that is, but we'll get back to this later. There's some more paperwork, put that to the side, and a little note from LG about the Explorer project. We got this really nice design skin case included in the box. It's actually pretty sexy. And LG is usually known for including cleaning cloths, but looks like we have a mask. Very nice. And of course we have our phone box. Now I know you're the star of the show, but we're going to set you aside for a sec. And we've got some paperwork talking about LG Pay and the second-year warranty, or the 2-year warranty. We have some more paperwork and the SIM ejection tool. And we got the 25-watt charging brick because LG still includes those in the box. Here's the C-to-C cord. And I'm not sure what this is. A dongle, because LG does not have a headphone jack on this phone. Lovely. And of course we have our lovely LG Wing. Time to take this out of the plastic. And there's our phone. It's actually a really nice looking phone. And it's definitely got a bit of heft to it, but I mean, you'd expect that at 260 grams. And the back is pretty glossy. I expect a lot of fingerprints here. Let's see if I can get this to focus. Yeah. And you can see where the two parts of the phone sort of come together. I mean, for what it is, it's a surprisingly thin phone. I mean, it's definitely thicker than a lot of phones out there, but again, for what it is, it could have been a lot thicker. And for comparison's sake, I have my Samsung Galaxy Note 20 Ultra, and as you can see, my Note 20 is not as tall, but it's definitely a little wider. Almost about the same. The Note 20 is 6.9 inches, while the LG Wing is 6.8, I believe. And the Wing is, of course, quite a bit thicker than the Note. And I mean, they're both big phones, and they're both kind of heavy, but the Wing definitely has a lot more heft over the Note 20 Ultra. And if you look on the back, they actually look pretty similar. I mean, they have pretty much the same looking camera array, and they're both very glossy phones. Now let's get things started. And while things are booting up, let's go over some specs, shall we? So like I said, the display is 6.8 inches, it's full HD plus OLED, and the second display is actually 3.9 inches. It's also OLED, but You might expect it to be like a 1:1 aspect ratio, like an exact square, but it's actually a 1 by 1.15, so it's not exact, but it's pretty close. Right now it's only available on Verizon and it's starting at $9.99. It will come to AT&T and T-Mobile soon. No word yet on pricing there, but we'll let you know when we find out. And on the back we have a 64 megapixel main camera, a 13 megapixel ultra wide, and then we have a second ultra wide, which is actually the gimbal camera, which we'll take a look at later. The phone is powered by the Qualcomm Snapdragon 765. It's a 5G chipset, so there is 5G on board. There's also 256 gigabytes of internal storage, and that's expandable up to 2 terabytes. There is a 32 megapixel front-facing camera. There's a 4,000 milliamp hour battery. There's quick charge and Bluetooth 5.1. Now the phone is IP54 rated, so you can't submerge it, but it is splash resistant at least, so that's something. Oh, and you may be disappointed to hear, but the displays are only 60 Hz, so there's no 90 Hz, there's no 120 Hz, it's only 60. But then again, LG is powering 2 displays here, so gotta cut them some slack. And here is our LG wing. And if I can just fiddle around with some settings real quick, I definitely need night mode. I don't need, just want, prefer, I guess. Looking for other display settings, and I don't see any to adjust the display resolution, but I guess shouldn't really expect it. It is only a full HD plus and only 60 Hz, so there's not really much to fiddle around with there. And now for the reason that you came. And it opens to a carousel of different applications that you can use. So if you want to open YouTube, it's right there. And one of the cool things about this phone is that, say you want to play a video in full screen, well, the bottom display acts as sort of like an extension, so you can adjust the brightness while you're watching a video, or even adjust the volume without having to, fiddle around with the main screen. So pretty much all the controls are off the main screen, so they don't interrupt your viewing experience, which is pretty neat. And there's a lot of other settings here, which I'm definitely going to have to play with later on. Another way LG imagines using this is, imagine you're navigating with maps and you want to listen to some music. Well, you can control your music without having to interrupt your navigation, which is pretty awesome. And then, of course, there's gaming. LG has Asphalt 9 pre-installed, and I guess one of the ways that you can really take advantage of this phone is by using the second screen as kind of like an extension to the games that you're playing. So like here, you have the map of the course that you're on. So as you're going through the course, it'll show you where you're at on the map, which is pretty cool. And of course, it's up to, other developers to really take advantage of the second display. Now, it is interesting what LG's done with the camera system on here. When you have the phone in swivel mode, like so, the camera basically turns into like a gimbal mode, or it has like a gimbal mode that you can see here. So like in the middle, there's a joystick. And with that joystick, you can actually control and pan the camera to different angles. It's actually pretty neat. The actual camera doesn't move, but it really is just like a crop that the camera is sort of going around. And then there's other gimbal functions too, like the lock, follow, pan, follow, and first person view. And it's pretty interesting what LG's doing here, and I kind of like it. As a videographer myself, I do find this very interesting, and I can't wait to really test this out to see how good it really is. One interesting thing to note here too is that while in gimbal mode, the phone can only shoot in full HD, so there's no 4K recording, unfortunately. Yeah, it's only 1080p, which, I mean, isn't bad, but 4K would have been nice. Then, of course, you have slow-mo and time-lapse. But one of the interesting camera features here, too, is the dual recording, which essentially records videos with both the front and the rear cameras at the same time. So you can have the video side by side while you're simultaneously recording on both. And then you can even have a little picture-in-picture mode, and you can even adjust what corner of the frame you want your video to be in. I do have to note though, the selfie camera is actually kind of loud when you activate it. That might get annoying, but I don't know. We'll see. And then of course in basic mode, we have all of our basic camera functions. We have all of our camera modes at the bottom. We have all of our normal settings. We can record in 4K, 4K 60 actually, which is nice. You can choose to shoot in full 64 megapixels or just keep it down to the 16 megapixels, depending on what you prefer. And of course we have the manual camera and manual video, which LG is known for having on their phones. So it's pretty much everything you'd expect to see in a normal smartphone camera, of course. Definitely can't wait to test this out and see what LG's really done with this camera system. Try it out and, see how good it is. So that is the LG Wing. What do you guys think? Is LG really onto something here? Or is this just another gimmick that's not going to go anywhere? Let us know in the comments below. Me personally, I'm actually really excited to try this phone out. So stay tuned for my review. And as always, thank you for watching and hope you enjoyed this video. Okay. It says this is a video brochure. Wow. LG did that.